From our last video, we learned how to create posts, and right now we'll be learning how to create pages. Pages basically are bits of content that allows you to push to a website visitor certain content that appears to be maybe like your profile information or contact information or information about services that you're rendering, your homepage, for example. So things like that can be created within WordPress in very simple clicks. And to do that, make sure you're logged into your WordPress dashboard. Sorry, I keep clearing my cache every now and again. That's why I get that warning, but it's not an issue. So by default, WordPress has a sample page, and that sample page, you can see it's right here. If you click on sample page, it shows you what the sample page is like. Now, it's not creating a page is not so different from creating a blog post. Simply go to your WordPress dashboard, click on pages, and then add new. When the page loads, as you can see, it is quite similar to creating a blog post. You add the title of the page. So for example, I could name this services, and then in the content, similar to what you do when you're creating a post, you can add an image. For example, I could add a gallery. I can put like these two pictures, for example, insert gallery. I can add a paragraph and say some of the services we provide include making coffee at weddings. So you can add as much content as you want, and when you're done adding your content, you can customize other things on the sidebar here where you have documents. So for example, you can set a featured image for this page. Now this featured image you may not see, depending on the type of theme you're using, you may not see this featured image unless you're probably sharing that page on social media. Say you want to share the page on social media, then whatever you've set as the featured image here is what you would see first, but you may not see it on the full page itself. The other things you want to do are things like you probably want to turn off allow comments. You don't want to enable this. The reason is if you enable this, people can put comments on your services page or about us page. Like, it typically doesn't make sense, does it? So this should be off. Then other things here that you probably haven't come across, page attributes, for example. Depending on your theme, it allows you to determine if you want your page to display full width, which is it will cover from this end to this end on your screen. That's from left to right. It will fill up the screen. Whatever content you're putting will fill up the screen, or at least the container will fill up the screen. You may need to do some additional adjustments, maybe with CSS, to be able to make your content cover the whole screen completely. But this just allows you to or rather tells the theme to enable a full width template for that particular page. If you say cover template, it has like a different view. So for example, whatever you set as your featured image may show up as the first image you see when someone visits the services page. Then the default page may just appear the way it is, like everything is in the center, or however the theme developer has developed the default template to look like. Let's leave it as default template for now. We can actually change these options and keep updating to see how those things are displayed. On that block, there are other options you can change it. For example, a paragraph. This is just, if you click on this gallery, for example, you can see that the block options change. This is just giving you the option to customize this gallery. If you click on paragraph again, you can see it has changed. So next, for example, you can change the text size and other settings like color and more options. You can add additional CSS if you want. So I'll save this page as it is. I'll publish it. Then I can view what that page looks like on the front end. So this is what the page looks like on the front end. Now let's change the template. I'll just close this. Let's go back to document, click on templates and click on cover template and then update. Let's see what that looks like. So I can just refresh this. Now this is what cover template looks like. Now remember I said if there was a featured image, that's probably what will show here. Now let me change the featured image. Let me set a featured image. For example, maybe I pick this image, say set as featured image, and then I update. Now if I refresh this, let's see what shows there. Do you see? That featured image is what has shown up here. So it's like a full screen image. And then when you scroll down, you can see they call this a parallax effect, where something stays either fixed, and then as you scroll, other things go on top of it and scroll it, but the image in the background stays where it is. Other times, as you're scrolling, you notice the background image is also scrolling, but at a slower pace, giving it a parallax effect. Then if you do full width template and you update, go back and check the services. Now this is what the services page will look like. This is what the services page will look like as full width. Now you can see the image here has taken a much wider space compared to when this was on default. So while this, I'll open a second tab so we can switch and maybe even change to cover template. I'll update this and then switch. So this is cover template. This is the default template. You can see this image here. See how small it is. And this is the full width template. Now you see the image is bigger because it has enabled the full width option for only this page. So that option is not a global option that affects all the pages on your WordPress website. Depending on your theme, it might give you the option to be able to set that so that every page you create takes either a full width template or a cover width template, whatever option it is called. On some things you may see things like right sidebar or something as part of the options. If you enable that, what will happen is it will push your content to the left and put a sidebar on the right. So sidebars, for example, in this case, if you're doing like an e-commerce site, remember, if you're doing an e-commerce site and or maybe Jumia, for example, and you see like filters on the left, allowing you to choose like price or sizes of the shirts and all that, that's a sidebar. So it can be left, it can be right, and it can be both. Whichever the option is, your template will give you that option to choose if it is available. And if it's not available and you know how to do it either via plugin or coding manually and customizing your template, you can go right ahead. So this is how to create a page. Now, one additional step you may want to take, because after creating a page, users from outside may not see it unless you expose it somehow, either by adding it to the menu at the top here or maybe somewhere at the bottom. For this template, it allows you to add menu items at the top. So to add this services page we've created, by default, the reason why this is showing is because by default this template just shows you a preview of what it looks like. Now if I publish this page like this, it will still show up like this because I haven't created a specific menu. So by default, the template was built to show all pages. So if I have like 100 pages and I don't create a specific menu, it would attempt to display all the 100 pages on this menu bar. But we don't want that type of situation. We want to display only what we want to, and even do things like creating drop downs and the likes. I'll show you how to do that in the next video.